What up, gamers? Hello, everyone. How's it going? All right. Before we get started, I am going to remove the batteries from my Ultraman suits. Tiga. Oh, sorry. Forgot to set my microphone, so it's gonna be kind of weird noises for a moment. Excuse me. Move that here. Every time, I swear, no matter what, every time I'm tightening this clamp, whenever I have to move my microphone, whenever I'm tightening the clamp up again, I always turn it the wrong way. Without fail. It's like, sorry. No matter what I do. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, I forgot to go to the store yesterday to get some batteries for this kit, so I'm going to take them out of the LED unit for the Ultraman Tiga, as I guess as like fucking a million people commented on that video telling me that I pronounced it wrong. Sorry. Okay. Let's so I don't misplace the batteries or lose them in any way. Why don't we go ahead and just put together the LED unit first. So how's it going, guys? No one ever did. What are you? You guys are talking about someone eating a pizza roll or something. One says, "Hi Zach, I just finished the 144 version of this kit and it's awesome." Yeah. You know, depending on how much I end up enjoying this kit. Oh, the music is not playing, is it? Sorry about that, guys. Let me see. What's wrong with that? Depending on how much I end up liking this kit, what I may end up doing is I might have to check out some of the 144 scale kits. Because I've been interested in the 144 scale kits, but not enough to want to take the time to actually build one up and everything, so maybe I will now after this. So like I said, if you guys watch the unboxing of this, I'm not really super into Mazinger at all. I don't really know anything about it. It's just that this kit looked cool just because it's so huge. It's a cool design. I mean, even though I'm not a big Mazinger fan, I like the Infinity version redesigns of them being like much more detailed and everything. Alright, let's see. Now, that music should be playing. So, let me see why it's not playing. There we go. Now the music's playing, right? Yes? Let's see if I can change this. No, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, you guys can hear me. You can hear the music. Everyone's happy. Okay. Noriyaki's time, yes. I don't know. I've gotten I want to say like that when I'm not like live on YouTube or recording videos for YouTube that I do swear more often, but actually I just actually really don't. Like maybe when I'm with my friends, I want to say like when I'm with friends, maybe I'll like swear more, and it's just something that I just like subconsciously. It's not like a conscious effort, like, oh, I don't want to get demonetized, so I don't swear when I'm making videos for YouTube. It's not that. It's just I don't. And I want to say that I do more, much more when I'm with my friends, but I think like actually not anymore. I used to. But I think so many years of being a teacher here and so much time spent like not being around friends very often. Most of the time I'm just like with my family or just like here at home. I think just over the years I've just kind of gotten out of the habit of swearing very much, which is probably good, you know, but I will still on the occasion. Anyway. Alright. This screw not wanting to cooperate. Going in there, please. First of all, is this LED unit? Okay. This does seem to be working well. Bandai just kind of pissing me off with these. Why Bandai's LED units are so expensive and kind of crap, to be honest. Anyway. Being Australian, swearing comes naturally. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it depends on who I'm with. Because, like, also just when I'm with my wife, I'm just not in the habit, really, of swearing much around my wife either, just because she's not a native English speaker. So, like, if I'm using, like, too many swear words and stuff like that, she's not, like, gonna get confused. Like, her English is really good. We were most of the time communicating in English, but even still. So anyway, there's the LED and does seem to be working pretty well. Okay, that's good. Now, let's start on the actual kit. Ted to Crazy Zaku, can you swear in Korean? Yeah, I can. I really don't like it though. Swearing in Korean to me sounds like swearing in English is fine. I don't mind it, and like I don't mind when other people do it, and like I said, I do it. But swearing in Korean to me, I don't know. I think it's because of most of the context of when I hear it. It just sounds so trashy. Because I hear it like when Koreans swear a lot, especially like guys, and especially young guys, but old guys a lot too. But especially guys, and most of the time they just sound like dickheads when they swear. They just sound like the most like juvenile, like losers when they're swearing, and so I just don't really like it. But yeah, I know plenty of swear words in Korean. All the big ones. And on the chance that there's any of my former students watching, I won't demonstrate that. But actually, probably most of the Korean swearing that I know, I actually learned off my ex-students. And a lot of just the not only swearing, but just Korean in general. Actually, being like a foreign language teacher, I think is a really good way to learn the language of the people you're teaching English to. So like, I've been a teacher for a long time in Korean, and from so much time doing that, my Korean has gotten better mostly because of just learning off of my students. So, let's see. But, yes, I can. It sounds weird. My friend one time cursed in Korean, it sounded really funny. Yeah, it doesn't sound like as cool as swearing in English does. I don't know, in my opinion. As for Japanese though, like, they don't really use a lot of swear words, as far as I know, of like the time I've lived in Japan and the Japanese that I've learned and everything. Like, they don't really use a lot in Japanese, which is kind of an odd comparison between here and there. So, it's kind of one of those things. But then again, that could be just an aspect of Japanese that I just never really heard much or really got too much into. Alright, so just first off, obviously the parts for this are gigantic, and again, if you didn't see the unboxing video for this, then it's pretty much a mega size. It doesn't have the mega size name, but aside from the name, it's everything that a mega size kit is. And it uses the same polycap runners as the mega size kits. The construction of the parts and everything looks exactly like a mega size kit, so it's a mega size in every way but by name. And it's just really odd. I don't know why they didn't just call it a mega size, because like Bandai has proven in multiple occasions that their labels for Gunpla aren't exclusively for Gunpla. Like, we have a perfect grade Evangelion kit and a real grade Evangelion kit, and we have master grade kits that are not Gunpla. There's master grade Dragon Ball Z characters. I think there's only Goku, but that's just one example. There's also the master grade, what's that? The other, what's that? You know what I'm talking about? Well, where is it? I can't even find it up on my shelf there. Where is it? The Palabor kit. There's a couple master grades from that series. And there's high grades from all sorts of different series. So, I don't know why they didn't just call this a mega size. It's very strange, but anyway, I've got all the parts here for the head and the torso that we're going to be building first. The head is first. And so, let's get started. Let me move this stuff a little bit out of the way so you guys can see more clearly what's going on. First of all, I just want to say hello to Jim, who's watching. Hey, Jim. Jim and Boo is not often able to catch the stream, so I'm glad you're here. And also, Kale, thanks for the donation there. Comparing swearing live stream. Yes, exactly. It's a good theme for today's live stream. So, we start off here by building the Mazinger face. So let's see, we got some nice color separation on this kit for sure. And I think it's gonna look, even just straight out of the box, it's gonna look pretty nice. Like this part for the eyes, the detail of the eyes is super nice. I'll show you guys up close in the review, of course, you'll be able to see a little bit better. But, very cool. Indeed. And then, let's see, that is this part. Even there's this detail behind. You have the clear orange part for the eyes there, which has some really cool detail on it, and then this clear orange part which goes behind that has some like detail on that behind the eyes, like more detail for behind the eyes. So I think like all the detail going in for the eyes on this kit is going to be pretty cool. So let's see. I guess those are nub marks. when I was picking out all the parts, there's these tiny little tabs sticking out there, and I wasn't sure to cut those off if they were, I couldn't remember if they were nubs or not, but I think they are because the part doesn't fit. So, pop this off. Has anyone tried putting LEDs in kits? Llama, yeah, there's plenty of people who do LED work. I'm not sure offhand who would be like a good YouTuber to recommend who does like a lot of LED work in Gunpla in YouTube videos, except for maybe, what's that, Otaku Builder, I think is the name of that channel, right? If I am correct on that name, I'm sure you guys know. I think he often does LED work in his builds. But that would be kind of the best example that I could think of. We're meant to put some stickers in here. Let's see. On these parts. And I don't want to put any stickers on anywhere where I'm still yet gonna have to paint, but these parts, this is just putting stickers on these clear parts here, so yeah, it should be okay. So basically you have black stickers to block light and like mirror stickers to reflect light to make sure that the LED light is going up and lighting up the eyes really well. So hopefully that should work pretty well to direct the light. We'll find out soon enough once we get this built up here. We'll switch it on. Seth Tuna on Facebook is pretty much the LED King Ogo. Yeah, Seth Tuna, but he doesn't really do, at least as far as I've ever seen, Seth Tuna doesn't really ever do much in the way of like showing his progress. I don't even think he does much like work in progress, and especially no sort of like tutorials or anything about teaching anyone how to do it. As far as I've seen, maybe he does. I'm not really a personal fan of his style, so I don't really follow his work that much. I mean, yeah, he does like really amazing work, no doubt. It's just not to my personal taste. Yes, Otaku Builder. Yeah, Otaku Builder makes really great stuff. I haven't really watched a lot of his videos and things like that, and I don't really follow him that closely. But everything that I have seen, the limited videos and things that I have seen of his work is yeah, very cool, good stuff. It's kind of a shame that I don't, as far as I hear around online, which is I don't really pay too much attention to, but when I do hear people talking about like some of their favorite Gunpla YouTubers and stuff, I don't often hear that name coming up, but maybe that's changing more. I haven't seen one of those threads in a while. That was not common, but that was a type of thread that I would see pop up, now and then. I would get alerts and stuff about it because people would be mentioning me. But okay, now we have to put these stickers on the this sticker, I should say, not these. This sticker here on the bottom here, which not okay. What this one is just blocking the bottom of this clear part here, so I'll probably just paint that black later, so that'll be okay. Excuse me. Yeah, Jim confirming that Seth doesn't do whips or tutorials, just final picks. Yeah, it'd be great if he did do more of that with tutorials and stuff, but for like his output, it's pretty crazy. At least like, again, last I knew. So let's see. For how fast he's just like putting stuff out, I can understand how he just doesn't really have time to also make whip videos and things like that. Where's this piece that I'm looking for? Couple of these extra large pieces do a really good job of hiding the small pieces from you when you're trying to find them. Oh, because they're both still hiding in the bin. Didn't get them out. There they are. Hello from the ICU. Oh, John Hinton. Hopefully you're okay there in the ICU where you are. I hope it's nothing serious. Let's see. So these go on here like that, and then you stick these guys on the side. So even like this, you have this clear orange part for like the spike on the side, and you have some like detail underneath that on like the clear part on that. So it's a clear part on top of another clear part, and the inner clear part has some nice detail on it. So when this is lit up, it should look really nice. Like the detail is going to be pretty intense. There's the bottom of the head, then we have the top of the head, which also has some very nice detail here as well. And this part goes that fits into there. I think I mentioned this in the unboxing video, but correct me if I'm wrong. But after posting about, I think maybe I didn't mention this in the unboxing video, but I think I mentioned it just in the previous live stream. But after posting about getting this kit, I got a message from Strider Prime, who wanted to do a build-off together with me, building this kit. So I'll be doing that. And on that note, it's Facebook told me today that it's Strider Prime's birthday, so I don't think he's watching at the moment, but happy birthday to him. If you guys follow him around on other different social media or something, say happy birthday to him. It's not his birthday yet in America, I should say. It's his birthday here in Korea. We're a little bit ahead. And why is this part not wanting to fit in here? There we go. I had to make sure that's lined up. I had it backwards at first, and then it was not lining up correctly, but there we got it. So the part for the inside of his dome piece. And let's see, and then the parts for the outside. Outer armor parts. I think this is going to be a fun kit to paint. I like working on mega size kits. I mean, it's a love-hate thing because the mega size kits are fun because they're so big and like really nicely detailed and everything. But at the same time, they're not fun because they're so big and really heavily detailed. So it kind of goes both ways. No. Somewhere. Aha. Uh-oh. Oops. Somewhere along the lines, I missed putting these stickers on here on the bottom side of this part. Ooh, not easy to remove this part. How's it going, Lee? Oof. There we go. Alright. Where did these go? These stickers go on the underside of here. These mirror stickers here go on the underside of the head. There and here and there. So again, these should help. Yeah, that must be right, but that's kind of weird. Strange. Okay. The surface doesn't seem quite right for sticking the stickers on there, but they must go on the inside like that. They certainly don't go on the outside, I'm sure, so. This one's kind of tricky because it kind of goes over a odd surface. But there we go. And other one. And just while we're doing stickers, we might as well put on the other ones, which are on a part for the torso. But we might as well put those on now as well while we're here. So I'll come back to those in a second. I would a little hello from Quebec, Canada. Hello in Quebec. Sticker 4 here is going to wrap around this clear part in the neck. Like that. So that'll block the light passing up in the neck, and then this one wraps around the bottom part of that. Fair enough, and that's it for the stickers. So just, yeah, just some stickers related to the LED gimmick, and that's pretty much it. So that's all. Okay, that's good. We don't need to worry about stickers anymore. We just make sure these are pressed down in place. Okay. Anyway, alright. Then, put this back on. And I'm very curious. Anxious to see how this is gonna look when it's lit up. Let's have a little preview. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh yeah, man, the detail in the eyes when it's lit up looks really cool. That's really awesome. And then it lights up this part at the top of the head as well. I actually didn't know it was gonna light that part up also, so that's really cool. When you don't have the flyer attached on the top of the head, the top of the head's lit up like that as well. That's pretty awesome. And this is under like really bright light too, obviously. When this is like in a not so bright environment, it's gonna look very cool. So very cool. Then let's see, we can build the flyer for in his head. So we got some really nice detail here inside this piece. Just gonna have to paint that up. You got like a this is 160 scale, but these seats are tiny. Those are like 1/144 scale seats. So I don't know about the scaling of this, unless like, again, I'm not a Mazinger fan, so I don't know anything about it. Maybe Mazinger in this like flyer on the top of his head is just like a couple of like tiny children. But if this is supposed to be like adult size, I don't have any, not readily available. I don't have access to like a 160 scale pilot figure for comparison. But yeah, these are really, these are smaller than 1/100 scale chairs in what I would normally see in a Gundam kit. So I'm gonna say on that one. Alright, but let's just get the rest of this here built up then. So got these parts here, simple enough. Uh-oh. This part of the kit is pretty simple, but looks good anyway. Hey Zaku, I need to steal your playlist. Steal my playlist. What playlist? Of music? It's not a playlist, it's just one very long song audio file track off YouTube. Alright, and then the canopy part on there, and that's that. So pretty simple, but yeah, there's a lot of detail inside of there. And we'll dip that canopy in some pledge to get it nice and shiny. Yeah, that just flies like that, and we must have some sort of adapter for this. Do we? I don't know. We'll see if we do. Strange that they made the plug for that in like this square shape to fit onto this square shape here on the head. Why they didn't just make it like a circular peg, so that way you could then plug this onto just like an action base if you wanted to. Kind of an odd choice, but whatever the case is, that is how that goes up in there. Alright, cool. Then we can start with the body, which has some extremely large pieces. I have a picture of my Reddit page. It's 25 meters tall, so we'll see. If it's 25 meters tall, that means he should be just a little bit larger than the perfect grade unicorn in destroy mode. But this seems like it's going to be around the same size as the mega size unicorn, which is 1/48 scale. So 25 meters seems like maybe it should be taller than that. But we'll see. I don't have it built yet. It's just what I can assume. So let's see, we got a couple of parts going in there like that. And also, the nice thing about this kit compared to some of the Gundam the Gundam Mega Size kits, at least from what I can tell so far, is that the seam lines look better on this kit. In that, I mean, it looks like it has fewer seam lines in comparison. Where is this piece? Hey? Should be another big silver piece here somewhere. Where did it disappear to? Hello. Oh. For some reason it was in the wrong place. I would have been really sad if I would have thrown that part out. So like for example, here is the center of the torso. The seam line is down here, but you have the side piece that goes over the side of that to cover it up. Except there's a little bit of seam line still left here, but I think that's probably going to be covered up by the black parts of the torso. So we should be good. We'll find out here in a moment. Then this part here on the back, that's just plugging in where the backpack is going to plug in later, so we'll have to take that back out. But for the time being, we'll stick that on there. Then these parts, polycaps, go on here and here. As usual, guys, too, if you have questions or anything for me during the building process, any specific questions, feel free to ask. Type your question in all caps so I can pick it out in the chat easier, or just tag me in your comment there. Alright, hang on just a second. Dun, 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 dun. Hey you. Yes, that was my own voice. Let's see. No, not that one. Here we are. Okay. Do you like Gundam Narrative? I've still not yet seen it, actually. So, unfortunately, couldn't say. Okay, so the longer part pointing down. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to see the manual here. Let's see, that should be like that, and that should be like that, right? Yes. There we go. And goes into this massive part here. Not that one. This one. Not that one. This one. No. Not that one. Yes, must be this one, but it looks kind of different here in the manual. Throwing me off a bit, but alright. That goes in there like that, and that goes in there like that. Let's see. How do you feel about the real moving Gundam? I don't really like the design of the moving Gundam. That design is, I mean, it's gonna be cool, no doubt. But that design is pretty ugly. Just whoever designed that, I don't know. I forget who it was. Who I put as the designer for that, but man, do not like the look of that. And have you looked over the LED yet to see if it's the same quality as other MGPGs? Yeah, James, the LED looks the same as other, just your regular Bandai kits, unfortunately. So LED unit's not going to be the best, it seems. Just kind of the typical Bandai LED. Alright, this part I guess doesn't really have necessarily a front or back. I'll just plug that into here for the LED going up through the neck, and plug this up through, right, through this part here, and then down onto here, and then this part onto here for the front of the chest. Everything should close up. There we go. Oh, this is so massive. But yeah, no seam line here, so that's good. Then for the back, let's see. Oh, let's put this together here for the front as well. We have these clear red parts, which I'm trying really hard to keep these clear red parts safe so that they don't get scuffed up or anything on the front, but I already got a little scuff here on the front of this one on this side, unfortunately. That goes there, and that goes up there, like that. Pretty gigantic. And let's see, the LED unit you put in later, but I want to put it in right now, so I'm going to skip ahead to that. So that goes, let's turn it on, and it goes into this piece. The switch should be on this side, like that. Oh, it's bright, can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Also kind of a tight fit in there. But there we go, that is on, and then that will plug onto here. And pop that into the back there. And it lights up pretty well. It's not quite as bright as it was when I was holding the LED right up the neck, but it still lights up pretty well. The eyes do look pretty cool there, lit up like that. So, alright, there we go. We're building the arms next, so let's move on. How's it looking so far? It's gigantic. But yeah, really happy that there's no seam lines on this so far, at least on the head and torso anyway. Syntax Graph, hello, how's it going? Okay, for the time being I want to turn the LED off. Ouch! And this part is not going to be easy to get off, is it? Oh, damn. Yeah! The problem is too, is like with all these panels, I forget which panel is part of the part that I want to take off and which panel is part of the part that I'm not trying to take off. So I'm not clear as to where I need to pry this. And also, don't want to damage anything, of course, unnecessarily. So oh no, it's like really hard to take off. Oh, that's not good. Shouldn't be that hard to get this off, because then like it's kind of a pain. Farid, would you repaint this? Yeah, I am actually planning on to paint it like very soon, next month. Alright, well, I'm not trying to hurt myself to get this part off, but that's pretty annoying. I'll have to work on that later. For the time being, I guess we'll just move on. Stick him over here to the side. I'll just build up the arms. Have you built any Pla Act Sen kits? No, I've not. Cluster Hopper, I've never built any of the Pla Act kits. I'm curious because I'm always like curious about any other brand mecha kits and stuff. And they look interesting, sort of, but I'm not really too into any of the designs. That's kind of the reason why I've never picked up any of them, because wasn't a fan of just the designs for them. Kindergrinds, you're seriously considering this kit? Well, I would say you should consider no longer and just buy it, because it's pretty awesome. Hello from Shoreline, Washington. Hey, how's it going, Mike Jones? You guys can hit up Mike Jones at 281-330-8004. When you call, ask for Mike Jones. Alexander, your Raspberry Pi is calling you? Okay. Have fun, enjoy. And see you next time. Oh yeah, alright. Mark over on Facebook said that kit looks like a big boy. Is it about the same size as a typical PG Gundam? It's bigger than a PG Gundam. It's 160 scale, which is typically PG size, but because the Mazinger is larger, 160 scale it seems more like the size of a mega size Gundam kit. So I've got the mega size Unicorn and the mega size RX-78 built up and nearby, so I'll compare them for you guys here once this is all built up, and then I'll have comparisons in the review too, of course. So we'll see just how big the size compares soon enough. Let's see, and this part goes in here. But yeah, I can only assume that this size will be pretty much exactly the same like a mega size kit, just because the construction of it is exactly like building a mega size kit. I mean, like the polycaps and the way you use the polycaps for different parts and everything. So far, it's right on with exactly how your typical mega size kits go. So that goes in there. And then this one here. Now, I think as I mentioned before, though, in the last live stream, even though I do plan on painting this up soon, I still have yet decided on exactly how I want to paint it up. I'm still just not a fan of painting it up in just the normal color scheme, because it's just too boring. I mean, it's not boring, it's a cool color scheme, so I'm actually tempted to just stick with the original color scheme, but I just feel that's a little bit boring to do. Not that it's a boring color scheme, but it's boring to paint it up in just the original colors, rather than doing something a little bit more creative. So let's see. This one was supposed to be on here, right? And let's see, where is that? This one here. The hand cover. No. Where is it? Where is this? And why is it not shown on there? There it is. Okay, so actually that part's facing down, like that. I was about to put that together wrong. Good thing I checked the manual. For the big fist. So I'm skipping ahead a little bit to building the hands here. You will have, it looks like, seam lines on the sides of the fingers and on the sides of the thumb here. So you'll have some seam lines on the hand, unfortunately, which don't look too bad. You could probably actually even just turn this into a panel line. Just kind of scribe down one side a little bit, and you could just turn that into a panel line so it looks like just armor panels on the top and bottom of the fingers, like that. This one here on the thumb, though, you're definitely probably going to want to get rid of that seam on the thumb there. That's not too bad. So far, if that's the worst of our problems in terms of seam lines, that's very easy. And Kale, no, it comes with two sets of hands, open hands and closed fists. Not posable at all, but they are really nicely detailed though. And I do, like I said, I haven't built any of the 1/44 scale kits, but now I'm kind of regretting that I don't have any of the 1/44 scale kits to compare, because it would be good to be able to compare them. Let's see, then we need PC 5. Now, I noticed, unfortunately too late, while I was preparing all the parts, that I kind of goofed up and used the wrong polycap for one part, so I need to kind of skip a little part of the construction for the moment. Let's see. Because I'm gonna have to find the polycap that I put in the wrong place when we build up the other arm. So for the time being, let's see, we can at least build up part of this here, so that goes in there like that, and then this we're gonna have to not fully close up. We need to just set that to the side. Hey Zach, how are you doing because of Corona? It's actually kind of, at least in this area where I'm at, it's kind of returning to normal a little bit. There's not a whole lot going on here, fortunately, so we're pretty lucky. And both my kids are now going back to school, to their schools, daycare and preschool, I should say. And what's that? Polycap 7. And my wife's going to work. I'm obviously working, so everything's pretty, I don't want to say chill, because I mean it's still a big problem in the country, and it sounds wrong to say that everything's chill. But like nothing's locked down or anything. I mean, like, just compared to the States, nothing's locked down or anything here. There's no like forced anything. Brian P asked, has there even been a kit you haven't painted and was happy with? Has there ever been a kit you haven't painted and was happy with? You means like a kit that I built it up and I didn't feel like I wanted to paint it? Like, I was just satisfied with exactly how it was, just straight out of the box, and I didn't want to paint it? I can't say that's ever happened. And this manual, I just want to stop for a minute and point out the fact that it's cool that they made the manual in color, but it's so dark, it's really kind of hard to see what they're trying to show here. So if you guys are getting this kit and building it, just be a little bit cautious. Just kind of be, not cautious, but just be patient building some of this part, because it's really dark purple, and so I can't tell if that's the front of the part or the back of the part. And just because it's so dark and it's so like detailed, the inside of detail and the outside detail is kind of similar. Just because the outside detail is so just like odd and hectic. But got it figured out anyway. So this part will go onto here. But sorry, yes. To answer the question about, I think I kind of got a little bit distracted there, sorry. To answer the question about any builds I was satisfied with just straight out the box, not that I can think of offhand. Possibly maybe some like plated kit or something, but then probably not, just for the fact that don't really like, because I prefer to paint even on plated kits, so even on a plated kit, yeah, I think I wouldn't, I don't know if I would necessarily buy it and build it up and then feel like I wanted to be done with it like that. I would still wanna paint it. Okay, so before we can finish up the arm, I need to find the missing polycap. So before we do that, let me just get these parts put together here. And just happy to give you guys a status report on the seam line situation. Looks like we got a little bit of a seam line here on these silver parts there for the axe parts for the arm, and it looks like we're gonna have a seam line here on the side of the upper arm, which is kind of a shame because it really seems like they could have made this in a way that wouldn't have that seam line there, but unfortunately that'll have a little bit of a seam line there. The shoulder is fine, the forearm is fine, and just a little bit of a seam line on the hand, on the thumb like I mentioned before, but that's pretty much it. A little bit on the hand and a little bit on the sides of the upper arm, and that's gonna be about it, it would seem. So let's find that rogue polycap, shall we? Should be around here. Let's see. Yoel asked, have you built the Master Grade Ingram from Pelibor? No, I've not, but I do have that kit, and I've been wanting to build it. I mean, obviously that's why I bought the kit. Yeah, I bought the kit ages ago. It's probably been like 3 years ago, maybe now. I bought that kit when I was actually Gunpla shopping in Seoul with Alex. I bought the Ingram kit, and I had a project in mind for it, or at least I had like an idea for it, but it kind of got shelved, and it's just still been on the shelf. Kale, how about the mold lines? The mold lines also have been pretty good. I haven't really noticed there being too much of an issue with mold lines either, actually. I mean, surely it's got them, and I'm not paying super close attention to that quite yet at this point, but yeah, the mold lines do also seem pretty not bad, so that's good. None that have really jumped out at me anyway. Build it? Okay, I should get on building the Ingram kit, eh? Fair enough. I will certainly take that into consideration. Let's see, and our missing polycap, I think should be, oh no, I'm in the wrong page. Let's see, where was that? Should be this one. Here. Like that. And then we can close that up. Right. Won't you close up? Or is there some sort of issue? Whew! It's tight. There we go. Then that's like that. It's massive arms. So yeah, you'll have that seam line there on the upper arm to get rid of. But again, not too bad. compared to mega-sized Gundam kits, certainly have it worse off. So we'll see. We still have the legs to go. The legs still could have some massive seams. We'll find out soon enough. But for the time being, pretty good. Live stream the Patlabor. Okay, yeah, surely. When I do build that, I will. I don't think it's something that I will be able to build up very soon, but I'll do my best. I hear your request, and I'll try to get to that sooner than later. But I do have still a pretty substantial to-do list here of other kits that are also waiting. So we'll see. We'll make our way through that. The problem now is that there still needs to be one more of that polycap, which is still missing. So I found one, but I still need one more. So ugh. We'll do our best here for the time being. Live stream the RG Ava Unit 1? Yes, I will. Once I get the kit. The problem is I don't have it yet. I pre-ordered it, but my pre-order has not been fulfilled. Just because I guess they couldn't get it, or they didn't get enough. So I think I also, let's see, that's like that, and this is like that. There should be one more of these other polycaps here as well. This one here. Here we are. Let's see, definitely the situation, the World War situation, yeah. Let's see. Alright. Also, just want to give you guys an update on the Master Grade Barbatos. So Master Grade Barbatos is all done, all painted and everything. And now I'm just in the process of just finishing up painting the character figure for that. I decided to paint up a character figure to go along with that, if you guys saw in the last work in progress video. So there will be one more work in progress video where I'll go over just a little bit of weathering on the Barbatos and then also building up the character figure for that and painting that. So I'll probably finish up that work in progress video maybe today, possibly, or tomorrow. And then once the work in progress video is done, then the kit will be pretty much done. So I should be able to share with you guys my finished Barbatos pretty soon. It's almost done. That's good. So yeah, we need to find one more polycap again. Well, here's one, but that's not what I'm looking for. Let's see. Let's see if it's here. No, it's not here. I'll have to find that. In the meantime, we can put his shoulder on. Yeah. The rest of the arm will have to wait a moment while we move on to the legs. Actually, the waist first. Yeah, we can put that together. I have the waist parts and the backpack parts together here, but can separate them out relatively simply, I suppose. Looks like. This this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and those are all backpack parts then. Okay. Kayla, you're stoked for my barber toast? Yeah, I'm really happy with how the barber toast came out. When I was doing the weathering, I wasn't sure, and that kind of tends to always happen to me because I'm just not good at weathering. So every time I'm doing it, I'm always thinking like, I don't know about this. It's not coming out right. But then when it's all said and done, it ends up looking okay. It's passable. So long as the weathering doesn't look too bad, then I'm fine with this. So I think the weathering came out all right. And so with that, I'm pleased with the results. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys as well. It's coming along pretty well. Pretty cool. Building a gold frame custom yourself. Well, that's cool. There's the waist part. And we got these like side skirt bits here as well, but maybe probably will have to remove those again in order to put the legs on, but for the time being we can just pop those onto there. So the waist section pretty simple, obviously it didn't take very long at all. Then we can build the legs. The legs are very gigantic, so you got some massive parts here. Like, just for size reference, here's my nippers, which is kind of like normal size nippers. You can see like these parts for the lower leg are the same size. It's like holding like a Coke can. Not a tall boy, the regular size one. I guess they don't make tall boys of Coke. That's kind of strange, but like a tall boy beer can, I guess. Love from Brunei. Hello. Thank you for the love from Brunei. Is that Rogue polycap here? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright. So what we do need, however, is the parts for the hip connection, which we need 2 of these for first. Polycap just sit into there. Right, there we go. Got a little nervous there for a second. It was not working right. Let's see. Hi, Midnight. That's a grenade. Yeah, Spidey. Yeah, it looks like a grenade, right? Just like the weird pattern on everything, right? Just the size of it is pretty hefty. Have you ever played any Gundam games? If that question is for me about Gundam games, then yeah. When I was younger, probably the first Gundam game that I played a lot was Gundam Battle Assaults. The first Gundam Battle Assault I played a little bit, but I didn't own it. I think a friend of mine rented it or something. We played it a little bit. Then Gundam Battle Assault 2, I owned and played a lot on PlayStation 1. And then on PlayStation 2, I had a few different Gundam games on PlayStation 2. Like I had Encounters in Space and Journey to Jabra, right? What's the name of that? And maybe 1 or 2 others of those like PlayStation 2 games, which were pretty good. Zeonic Front, I think if I remember correctly, like Zeonic Front was probably the best one, if I remember correctly. But and then I played the Dynasty Warriors Gundam series quite a bit as well, especially Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. I think I played a lot. I really liked that game. I played a lot. That was when I was in college. So that was a game that I played a lot, like in downtime and stuff. When I had time. Being a college student, I didn't have a ton of time, but when I did, basically, like, it was just like single player solo games that I played, because like I played multiplayer games, like Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers a lot with my friends, but just like when I was by myself, basically I played a ton of Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 and Bayonetta was out like at the time as well. So I played those games a lot at that time. And by a lot, I mean like, for me, compared to probably like a real gamer, probably not that much, but like, what by a lot I mean more than I played other games. So, but those were fun. Yeah, other Gundam games that I played, I did also. Then more recently, I do play the mobile game. So, yeah, I play that as well. A little bit more seam lines here on these mechanical parts in here. I'm not sure how visible ultimately they're going to be, but they look like they're probably going to be relatively visible. This part here on the knee, you'll have a seam line down the front of there, and then on the side of the hip, you have a seam line a little bit here as well on these joint parts, it looks like. Let's see. Then these parts here, but on the main armor parts they look pretty good, as that the seam lines are just, designed as panel lines. Interesting. Yeah. Let's see, I actually don't like the way she does her reviews. I give her props for her content, but unfortunately Gundam still needs to mature more as a YouTuber. I won't get into that. YouTube content creation is not easy. The way to stand out is to be knowledgeable. Yeah, I mean, yes, being knowledgeable would be good. But I can't really talk too much on that subject because people are often calling me out for not being knowledgeable about certain things, especially when it comes to like especially non-Gundam stuff. Like Gundam stuff I'm pretty okay with, but although there is like a lot of Gundam stuff like the Build Diver series, which I've not watched, or like 00 or Seed stuff that like I've watched, but like it's been ages, so like I don't like remember the names of certain things or different stuff like that from the series. And but I don't know, when it comes to like knowledge about like the backstory of certain things and just stuff like that for like Gundam reviews, I'm of the mind that I just don't really care that much because it's a review of the model kit, and that sort of stuff is not really necessarily important to the model kit. Like the name of a particular weapon doesn't have any effect on like how it's used with the model kit. So in my opinion, it doesn't really actually matter that much, but some people do get kind of annoyed when you don't know how to pronounce a certain thing or something, so oh well. But yeah, especially when it comes to non-Gundam stuff is when I also run into the worst trouble, like this for example, where I don't know anything about it. But I always try to make it known to you guys straight away that I don't know anything about it, so at least you hopefully won't blame me too much for that. But I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again, is that I think that if you prefer... Oh, that's kind of interesting. If you prefer your Gundam related, and especially like Gundam related content on YouTube to be more informed about like the backstory and stuff, then there's other channels like Kakarot does like the really researched videos about like the backstory of different mobile suits and characters and things like that. So there's other people who cover that content for sure. Now let's see. Then this part fits over front of the foot. It seems like... hang on. That's wrong on there, so I need to get that off before I break anything. Hello. Thanks for the Twitch raid over there. Hello there. It's a raid to freeze. Hey guys. Fuck. Why does my part separator have to be so far away? I'm too lazy to go get it. There we go. Phew. Crisis averted. Now it seems like you could call it a day on the foot there, and you have this extra part which goes on here, which seems like it's really kind of only there as like stabilization, because it's kind of weird. And this part also like is just this big part with no detail on it at all, so it looks like that is just like an extra part that's only there to help the kit stand up. And it says parts and place them on the model as you like. So it's an optional part to just help the kit stand up, I think. So that part looks pretty ugly. I'm gonna leave it off for the time being and see if the kit can stand like relatively well without that. Then I'm just gonna leave that off. But there's this gigantic leg, and so seam line reports nothing on the armor. That's good. No seam lines there, and just a little bit of seam line here on the top of this joints, and then the knee joints. If you have the knee bent, you'll see that, but if you don't have the knee bent, that'll be mostly covered up. So I may or may not end up getting rid of that seam line. I probably will just for the moral argument of removing seam lines, but if you couldn't be bothered, you could get away with not doing anything with that. If you're just gonna have the kit just standing like that, which probably most people are going to anyway, you could get away with not worrying about that seam line on there. So alright, let's get this plugged on. Then we can really get an idea of how big he's going to be now that he can sort of stand up. And is pretty large. And yeah, I don't think we're gonna really need that part on the back of the foot. It seems like it's gonna be able to stand well enough without that. But if you want to do like some pose, you may run into trouble or something. But anyway, yeah, whew, it is big. So I'll give you guys a better look at it once we have it built up some more. But I really can't wait to paint this thing. It's gonna be really a lot of fun. Let me get these parts here out of the way. And I'm also, excuse me while I'm just sort of reorganizing some stuff here. I'm also really glad that I now have a 0.5mm airbrush, because painting kits like this with a 0.3 brush is just not fun. Here's that missing polycap that I put in the wrong place, so now we can finish up the other arm. Luckily, yep. Oof. It's a real tight fit there. Any idea of what the next live stream will be? Well, Kale, to answer your question, what the next live stream will be, tomorrow there'll be a live stream of the next episode of Gunpla Critique, taking a look at a couple of builds from my Patreon supporters. So we'll do that on a live stream tomorrow. And I do have, last time I meant to build the Eldora Daughters, but I forgot that I didn't actually have the parts ready yet. So I do have them ready now. So I've been thinking, depending on how long this kit takes, I'll do another live stream just right after this today. Building the Eldora Daughters, possibly. We'll see. Should be finished here with this pretty soon, so maybe. If not, then the Eldora Daughters will maybe live stream on Monday, but we'll see how I'm feeling here as soon as this wraps up. And Lee, to answer your question, do I have an idea for the color scheme? No, still not yet. I'm still thinking about that. I was talking about that a little bit earlier, and I'm not sure. Because the original color scheme for this is really nice. So I've been thinking, okay, do I want to just like stick with the original color scheme but just tweak it a little bit, like just make the purple parts and like a brighter purple and the black parts and just like dark gray instead of black, something like that, like just tweaking the colors? Or do I want to go something completely different and make it like all gold, or I don't know, other ideas in general? I'm not sure. I have not yet decided about the color scheme for this, so I'm still thinking about that. I do actually think something like all gold would be kind of cool looking, but at the same time I don't really particularly necessarily want to do that. So while I think it would look good, I'll let someone else do that, because I'm not that interested in doing it myself. If that makes sense. Alright. Other leg, as always, should be easy enough. It's always easier to build the second one. Not necessarily that the first one was difficult by any means, but it should be faster to build the second one, I mean. Speaking of ease of building, I think Alex is not in the chat, but yesterday in like our group chatting with a few of the guys, Alex shared a video of this guy who's like normally like a tech YouTuber who like builds custom PCs and stuff. I think the channel was Jay's 2 Cents was the name of it. Who I guess recently, and I guess he does do some like model building as well, and he recently took a stab at building a Gundam kit, and he built the RX-78 to Gundam version 3.0 master grade kit. And I gotta tell you, the video was pretty annoying. Because I mean, check out the video if you guys want. But he was basically just saying like, Gunpla's toys, this is too easy, like this isn't serious model building, like only ship building is like military models, like the only real model building. And he kept saying like, I'm not talking shit on it, I just think like, to me this is a toy. And like, and he clearly just didn't really have any background knowledge or like any knowledge of like the obvious level of model building that goes into like some of the builds that we see like from GBWC and stuff like that. So I just thought it was kind of uninformed. Yes, very condescending. Yes, which, and I mentioned this in our group chat when we were talking about this. Is that I think it's a fair point to say that like Gunpla is easy compared to like model ship building, because in most cases, yeah, I would say that is true. But I mean, you could have someone who's just where's that polycap? You could have someone who's like just like building a model ship, like just like straight exactly how it's supposed to be, just like straight out the box, and not like customizing it or anything. And I mean, like, I realize that customizing is like not a thing when it comes to like ship building, because they're going for realism. So but I think, I mean, I don't have to tell this to you guys because you're all well aware of this, but like the customization and the creativity that goes into Gunpla building, for a lot of people anyway, not everyone, some people just like to build it up just like exactly how it's supposed to be and paint it in just the official colors and don't get too creative with it, which is fine. But what a lot of people like to do for like real Gunpla modelers who get into the hobby for more modeling than just like building and collecting. I mean, anyway, that creativity that goes into it, I think, was something that the guy was just completely ignoring, or just was completely ignorant of. And so I think, well, yes, the actual physical process of just snapping the kit together is much easier to build Gunpla compared to building stuff like military models and ship models and stuff like that. There's less technical skill involved in that. I think while there's less technical skills, there's obviously a lot more in the way of creativity and just aesthetic skills that you need to like build good-looking mecha models in Gunpla and stuff like that. So it was just kind of dumb. Just sounded dumb, but whatever. It wasn't worth like going to the comment section and just like tearing it up, being like, "You're such an idiot." Blah, 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 blah. So whatever. But check out the video though, if you guys want. I wouldn't recommend either that you like blast him in the comments or anything like that, because I think his opinions and what he's saying is unfortunately the opinion that a lot of people have who are just ignorant. Ignorant is not necessarily the word that I want to use because it has such a negative connotation. And I don't mean it in like a negative way, but just in a fact of the matter way. They just don't know. They're just not aware of what goes into like sci-fi mecha modeling compared to what they're very familiar with, something like military models, stuff like that. So it's all good. Whatever. People are gonna like different things, and so you just have to accept that. Yeah, it's just exactly it's just a waste of time. It's fine. And he kept complaining, this is just another thing too, which was just kind of funny. He kept complaining that he didn't like the color scheme of the RX-78-2, how it looked too much like a toy or it looked too much like a transformer, even though it's not. I don't know if I can't think, and I don't have a ton of like, knowledge of Transformers, but I can't think of a single Transformer that's mostly white like that, with like red, yellow, and blue. Anyway, but yeah, he kept saying that he didn't like the color scheme for it, so he ended up painting it just like all gray. So like the kit, I guess there was like a couple slightly different tones of gray, but I mean, I couldn't understand not liking the color scheme of the RX-78-2. But complaining about it and then just repainting it in just like solid gray. It's pretty boring. But I guess it just goes to show, right? That's his background, like mecha modeling, or like shipbuilding and stuff. It's mostly just like that, those kind of colors. It's like used to building a model ship where it's mostly just gray. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera there. Alright. This part has a very particular way of going together, so I have to make sure I'm putting this together correctly for the wing connector here. So that's gonna go here. Now let's see this one here. Which one of these? Like this. This one here. There we go. Phew. Dan with the plan said he's aware it's from the 80s, right? Yeah, yeah. The color scheme could be pretty easily explained. That's what I mean. Like, he just seemed pretty not knowledgeable on the source material, which, like I was just saying 15 minutes ago, that I think when you're, because like for my model kit reviews, I think getting upset at a model kit reviewer for not knowing too much about the source material is not that big a deal. I just finished saying that about myself, but you know, I mean that to a degree. Where's that part? Anyway, yeah, he just seemed, yes, exactly, not familiar with the source material, so yes, the kit being from the 80s would have been a dead giveaway, or at least you would have been able to understand the reason for why it was colored that way, given the context. But what was I gonna say? I don't know. I was gonna say something else about that, but anyway. Forgot what I was gonna say about that, so just never mind. Point is, yeah, it was just silly. And what about this? That seems odd. It's like that, and like that. Hey. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Nathan, I agree. An all gray paint scheme can look good. But yeah, you need to add variation. Like, for example, the Zeta Plus is an all gray, but it's done like it has like the little white accents and stuff, and like obviously with markings and stuff that also helps to break up the gray so that it does have that militaristic sort of look to it. Where at least in what he showed in the video, he hadn't yet put any decals or anything on it, so it was just pretty plain. I think I saw someone mention something in the comments about how he apparently mentioned something about that he was gonna put decals on it and then post a photo later on his Instagram or something like that. I didn't look into, I didn't check, but maybe he did put maybe he did end up putting some decals on it or something later. But oh man, this wingspan is massive for this. It's incredible. Got this part here. And it looks like you will have a little bit of a seam line here on the side of this yellow part. So that's unfortunate, because that's going to be a hard piece to, if you want to modify that. I guess what you could do is just cut off this part here at the bottom. So I'm not sure how I'll ultimately end up doing that. I'll have to think about that. But it seems like there's different ways you could go about modifying that to get rid of the seam line without too much trouble. The easiest thing though to do would be just to turn that into a panel line. And with this thing having panel lines all over the place, adding an extra little panel line there, I think could work perfectly fine. So there's the wings. I mean, it's like a gigantic batarang, right? It's pretty huge. But it's not quite done yet. We do still have a few more parts here for this. So we got this part up here at the top, which goes on there like that. Little tiny detail parts. This one. So the parts go here on the bottom. Here and here. Like that. And then just basically the kind of belt part here. So those go on the side. That's backwards. That's right. Oh yeah, I remember. What I was gonna say now is that also, while I'm still on the topic of this guy's video, but while he was building the kit, there was someone, like I guess the cameraman, like off screen, who seems to be like telling him information. So it seemed like maybe he was more knowledgeable, whoever his cameraman was, slightly more knowledgeable about the subject matter. But I guess like whoever his cameraman was, and I guess he was also getting comments like off Twitter or something like that, or Instagram or whatever. And so like people were telling him that that real grade was more difficult than master grade because real grade kits like had all the detail of a master grade kit, but they're smaller. And while that's sort of generally true-ish, like it's not constantly true, and and so it doesn't really matter. But the reason why it matters is because for a channel like his, where his audience is probably not people who are generally into that, who are not into Gunpla, maybe don't know, to be giving information like that that's not exactly true is just kind of a shame. So people who are not really familiar with Gunpla and watching his channel and just seeing that as like their first time ever being introduced to seeing something like that, hearing him say like, oh, RG kits are more difficult, so then maybe people will be like, oh well, I don't want something that's going to be more difficult than that, and so they may be turned off from wanting to try out an RG kit, which is a shame because they're not really more difficult. They're smaller, yes, and they don't always necessarily have more detail than the RGs, than the master grades, and sometimes vice versa. Like for example, like the RX-78 the RG and the MG 3.0 are similar in their detail. But if you didn't have the 3.0, if you just had the 1.0 or 1.5 or 2.0, the detail's different from the RGs. So, like the Master Grade Zigok, probably another example of the Master Grade and the Real Grade are quite different. But anyway, and then he also mentioned that the kit cost something like $200, which was pretty embarrassing. So. That was quite the goof. Because yeah, it's for people who don't know, if they were to just hear that and be like, whoa, $200, I'm not even gonna bother with that. Unfortunate. But alright, it's all built. So let me give you guys a look here at this thing. There you go. It's pretty gigantic. Alright, so let's just have a size comparison here. So the mega size unicorn I've got right over here. And yeah, the mega size unicorn is a little bit larger. I was expecting them to be closer in size, but no, the mega size unicorn is still bigger. The mega size unicorn is just ridiculously huge. So they're still gonna be pretty close, and I know you guys can't see that super well. Can't really back up my camera a whole lot much more than that though at the moment, so it's kind of the best I can do for you. for the time being. But like I said, I'll show it more again in the review as well. But the Mega Size Unicorn gonna be a little bit larger, but pretty close. It's definitely, I mean, I would still say, although the scale is different, it's not 1/48 scale, it's still a Mega Size kit in every other way. So yeah, there we go. That's that. Very big boy. Kyle Toon, yes, I was talking about Jay's 2 cents, yes. But yeah, alright, so there you go. Large indeed. No, so now I guess while we're here, might as well just get this built up. So might as well just go ahead and build up the Eldora Daughters kit as well. But so what I'm gonna do is I'll stop the stream and then start a new stream for building the Eldora Daughters. So if you guys have any last questions or anything about this kit for the moment, ask them now. Otherwise, I'll have the review coming up for you guys soon. But if you have any last questions, hey Matt, I see my good friend there, Last Pack Magic, is also watching on Twitch. Hey buddy. Yeah, if you have any last questions or anything about this one for the time being, ask. Otherwise, we'll close the stream for the moment, and then I'll open it back up just a couple minutes later, and we can just quickly build up the Eldora Daughters. It won't take very much time at all to build it up. So, Yol asked, are you concerned with your kids and your model kits, or rather, where do you store your kits before your kids go inside your office? Well, my kids don't come in here. They know they're not supposed to come in here, so they don't really even try to come in here. Fortunately, it's still pretty much okay. So everything's safe, and I don't really have much of anything outside of here. There's a couple of kits I have on display out in a different cabinet out in the other room, but they're also like up higher and they know not to touch that stuff, so it's okay. Which one is heavier? Jedstar asked which one is heavier. I think the Mega Size Unicorn is still, yeah, it's noticeably heavier than Mega Size Unicorn is, because there's a lot more parts in the Mega Size Unicorn, especially a lot more ABS parts in there with all the Psycho Frame parts, which are heavier. So yeah, the Unicorn is certainly heavier. It's larger and has more parts and heavier parts in there. So let's see, there was another question, something else I saw on Twitch. Milky Shame also asked, I see some stretch marks on the metallic parts. How do you hide those? I think you mean nub marks on the metallic parts, or like the injection molding, like lines, just like the lines of the like silver injection molding. You can't really hide that unless you just repaint the parts. Kale asked, how do I become a patron of your channel? You can, there should, maybe not in the live videos, I think I don't have the Patreon link in the live videos, but on all my other non-live videos there's a link to my Patreon page, or you can just search Zach Aurelius Patreon and it should come up. I just have a regular Patreon page, so you should be able to find that, yeah. Much appreciated if you do decide to become a supporter. Like I said, the Gunpla critique videos are for Patreon supporters that are of $10 and up. So if you want to get in your submission for the Gunpla critique video that is scheduled for tomorrow, you still have time to do that. You can become a patron and send your stuff to me. You'll notice there on the Patreon page. Once you've joined, you'll see a post that's only there for, it's only visible for people who are of that support status, but you should be able to see that. Anyway, you just send me your submission for that, and that'll be tomorrow. Anyway, okay, so let me close the stream here for a moment. Hang on, guys, hang tight if you want to watch the Eldora Daughters build as well. I'll build that up. I'll restart the stream here after just a moment, so hang on, and I'll be right back.